My name is Gary Butterfield, he, him.
My name is Kole Ross, she, her.
And we're just recording a little wrapper thing in case you're wondering why this is on your feed or the news didn't reach you. As we're recording this last week, we lost Jeremy Greer, one of our friends who we met through our shows, through Bonfireside Chat, and who was a host on the network and everything. And we thought people, one of the things about Jeremy is, in addition to being a close friend, he was great.
Yeah.
He was really good on podcasts, very funny, very insightful, plugged up a lot of holes in our knowledge base.
Yes.
And stuff. So we thought, and he, I wrote a big thing on Patreon about this, but one of the things about Jeremy is he loved podcasts.
Yep.
He absolutely loved this medium. He did as many as we do, and he's only one person.
Yep.
So we thought we would rerun the Jeremy files, I guess.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with non-human biologics. So these are the Jeremy appearances. If you want to listen to kind of a chronology of him being on the shows.
Yeah.
And revisit those appearances.
Yeah. Just go back, listen to him being great. Wanted to do this in remembrance.
Yeah, he cared about having his podcast stuff around.
Yep.
After he passed, so we're doing our part for his Duckfeed appearances here, I guess.
Yes.
And in case anybody wanted to listen back, save you the trouble of having to search through the archives.
Yeah, yeah. So
give a listen.
These will be hitting the feed. I don't know if it's going to be all at once or kind of all in rapid succession. But yeah, just that is why you're seeing this stuff.
Yeah, and if you're not interested in that and everything, that's fine. Mm-hmm. Just ignore them as a thing. But if you are, here they are. And
Some of our landings were desperate adventures. We are now prepared to meet the inevitable counterattacks with power and with confidence.
Hey, this is Kole. Initially, our plan was to include a PvP discussion in the appendix to the New Londo and Darkroot Basin episode. But this thing was so good that we wanted to break it out into its own episode rather than make it kind of wait at the end of the general appendix. Also, I forgot my external hard drive. I'm away from my office. I will not be able to edit that until a little bit later. So what the plan is to release this now on Sunday in the usual time, and then the actual appendix will come out Monday. So if you're listening to this is just a programming note. You can expect the normal stuff tomorrow. If you're listening to this afterwards, after the fact, then this doesn't matter to you, and just enjoy this awesome discussion with Jeremy about PvP. So, yeah.
Hey, this is Gary Butterfield.
This is Kole again. And here we're...
Still. It remains Kole.
It remains. Still. We did this at the beginning, but we need to do it again because we're recording this later. Oh, God, help. No, but we're here to talk about PvP because we just did a huge episode about both the Darkroot Garden, Cat Bro section and also the Dick Wraiths in New Londo. And it feels apropos to just kind of really dive into what it takes to be successful in making people's lives hell. And we are joined today with Mr. Jeremy Greer, also known as EC on the Something Awful forums. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself, Jeremy.
Hello. Like you said, my name is Jeremy. I run the extremely unpopular Tumblr page, darksoulshaters.tumblr.com, where I post collected hate mail from the Dark Souls PvP community. And I have a YouTube page, not EC, because somebody apparently had already taken EC and EC, and that's about it. And I play a lot of Dark Souls, several hundreds of hours in to Dark Souls. So and a majority of that is PvP. I probably have gotten to new games 6 or 7 on one of my PvE characters, but hundreds and hundreds of hours of PvP. So
holy crap.
Any questions that you guys have, I am here to answer, and hopefully wrongly, so I can be sternly corrected on the something awful. That is my goal in life, is to be corrected.
As is ours.
We definitely wanted to bring Jeremy on because Cole and I, we feel like we know the game fairly well, but there are people who are experts in kind of various areas of the game.
Please do not call me an expert, please.
Yeah. Who are much more experienced than we are.
Yes.
At a lot of these areas. So we want to kind of shore up our weaknesses. I first came across Jeremy in that Something Awful thread, and the various links to that blog, which I recommend. I talked about it on the show before. And it's like it's the place not to go if you're uncomfortable even reading the word faggot, which is myself. Like, I don't really like saying that or seeing it.
It's horrible. Some of the things these people say and write to complete strangers just kind of blows me away. It's one of the reasons I started the blog, is because I get all of this horrible, horrible language delivered to me. Sometimes like voice messages that are just some of the worst things, and having a place for people to read that and make fun of it, I think, kind of diminishes it to some extent. So that's the reason I justify putting stuff like, I can't even repeat some of the language that I post on the site. So
what like anthropologically, it's so interesting. Like, what will future civilizations think of that? Like, if there's an electronic record of it, and in 300 years they find this message from, I don't know, like Bong Shaman 94 to, to Killer Inside. And it's just like, a lowercase u, fago, noob with a 0. Like, what it's going to look like it's just glossolalia. It's not going to look like anything.
God forbid that future civilizations find darksoulshaters.tumblr.com and somehow miss all of the Coen brother movies. Like, that would just be the worst thing. How did we maintain my stupid blog but lose all of those DVDs?
Yeah. like this Jeremy fellow seems to be very important, and there's a minor footnote about this Mr. Criterion. I know nothing about.
Weed Lord Boner Hitler does not approve.
Yeah. PvP. I've done a few invasions, and I've been invaded a handful of times. Most of the time, I've talked about them on the show. But I guess, like, starting kind of at the beginning, something that I'm interested in is, if you want to get started in this, I'm trying to think of a good way to phrase this question. How casual can you be? Like, are you going to have any chance at succeeding or having fun if you're not building a guy specifically for it? Like, let's say you're playing through vanilla game and you just want to try out this huge aspect of the experience that you've been blind to.
I think you would be reasonably successful, but like that, defining successful like you define successful in Dark Souls, just in the vanilla single player game, like, you're going to die a lot just from the outset. I tell people when they ask me advice about the game and getting into it, is just to start doing it, to start invading and to start getting used to it. It's I don't play a lot of multiplayer games. Like, I'm not a Call of Duty fan, and I play through most games solo. That's just kind of the way I'm built. But Dark Souls has a weird PvP community, and you can, as you start invading, you'll kind of start realizing how things work. Like the concept of a lag stab, which is big in the community, and like you'll see that word kind of strewn about everywhere. Like, that's not really lag, it's just a mechanic of the game. Right. But you don't really understand how that works, and it's almost impossible to explain it in words without seeing a video or actually experiencing it yourself. So I don't think that you're not going to go. I guess when you start in Firelink Shrine, you pick up those 4 red cracked orbs that Petrus is hiding because he's a tool. You go pick those up and you start invading in the Burg immediately at like soul level 10. You're probably, especially at this point, not going to be very successful. You're just not going to be. Like, you're going to be running up against people who don't have any idea what they're doing. Or, excuse me, that have completely that understand completely what they're doing and are waiting for you to invade. But if you wait till, say, Blighttown or Anne Orlando, you have a reasonably good grasp of the game's mechanics, you have some upgraded gear, you might have a chance of like invading somebody that's completely new to the game. With my Karmic Justice invasions, I purposely kind of targeted that to lower level people, and you'd be surprised about how many people I run up against with, Drake swords and Knight shields in Anne Orlando still. Like, it's crazy. Wow. So those people are out there and they're looking for a fight. Like, and sometimes they turtle up, sometimes they get aggressive. But yeah, you don't have to have a specialized PvP build in order to win a match. But you really have to define that word successful because
Yeah.
you were successful is like one win out of maybe 10. Like that to me would be successful as a brand new Dark Souls PvP player.
So it's a valuable experience, even if your kill death ratio is not not COD Blops level.
Oh God!
Yeah.
One of the things I want from Dark Souls 2 with their server-based stuff are those stats, but at the same time, like I would hate to look at my kill death ratio. Like, as many times as I've invaded, like it would be horrible. One of the big things that we say in the thread to all the new players is if you're going to get into PvP, the most important thing is just not to take it seriously.
Right.
Don't get angry. Don't like worry about your damage output or your DPS or all that. Just go into it, like try to do the best you can, try to have fun with it, because it's, in some cases it's fundamentally broken, and in some cases it's really a lot of fun. So it's hard to balance that for new players.
Right. What are some common builds that you're going to run up against if you're just out there running around, just doing casual PvP, and how do you kind of counteract those?
A big thing in the PvP metagame, or whatever you want to call it, is like a katana build, which is a dex faith or a dex intelligence or just a pure dex endurance. So you're going to see a lot of Yukis, a lot of Ayatos, or however you say that weird word, a lot of washing poles, a lot of great scythes. You'll see them buff those with Sunlight Blade, Dark Moon Blade, or with Crystal Magic Weapon or Magic Weapon or what have you. That's pretty much like the beginning. I think most people who would get into PvP at the start, where they would go. You can do a lot of damage very quickly. You have a cool looking purple glow on your sword, and that's cool. Like, and as far as countering that, like really, if they're relatively new players, then it's pretty easy to parry them.
Right.
I'm sure you've seen on videos, block the first hit, parry the second, just like you beat Gwen. Well, Cole, you probably don't know anything about beating Gwen.
God damn it.
How many Balder side swords do you have, Jeremy?
Man, how many builds do I have? Jeez, I think I'm up to like 30 or something. It's ridiculous. I own 4 copies of Dark Souls, just to tell you how crazy I am about this game. I need to give at least one away at some point. So yeah, big thing is a dex build. You jump your dex up to 40 and plus 15, some sort of dex scaling weapon, throw a buff on it, and then R1 or RB to victory.
Right.
Now there's a lot of weird variations in between those. Strength weapons are very popular, but they're much, much slower, so I don't think they're popular to newer people, because you really have to know your timing and how not to expose yourself with a strength weapon. So, you're not going to jump up into Smo's hammer and then, not get backstabbed if you're brand new.
Why would you anyway?
Yeah. Do you, so we were talking about, and we're kind of doing this in a haphazard order. So,
yeah,
forgive us for that. We're not Fox Newsing you. We're like trying to, but just real quick. So you had mentioned in the first question, you talked about lag stabs and stuff. Like, what's some of the vocab? Like, what does that mean? Like, I know what that means, but just for anybody who doesn't, like, what are some of the common kind of terms or things like that?
A lag stab is, Dark Souls PvP is so broken. This is so dumb. Basically, if you have 2 players that are circling around each other, on your screen, it looks like you are behind your opponent. In other words, you start circling the opposite direction from him. You move behind your opponent, and then you get the backstab. On his screen, because this isn't server-based, this is player-to-player based networking.
Yeah, it's peer-to-peer.
Peer-to-peer, not player-to-player. Peer-to-peer networking. On his screen, it looks like you're in front of him. Then you do the backstab, and all of a sudden you're behind him. So it looks like you're teleporting or lag stabbing him.
Right.
The Dark Souls community loves the try hard stuff, which I hate the word try hard, but that's when you're adding a lot of buffs. Like they'll if you have a magic build and you're using items such as the Crown of Dusk, which boosts magic damage, and then Power Within, which boosts magic damage or any damage, Bellowing Dragon Crest, and then 10 Crystallization Crest, like all that stuff. They call that a try hard build because apparently you need to try very hard or something. I don't know. To me, you're doing this stuff in the game to win. Like, that's good. There's the whole giant dad meme, which I'm sure everyone that's listening to the show knows exactly what that is.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any other kind of terminology that's around.
Let explain. I know what the giant dad is. Explain what it is, just in case, because like a lot of people who I've talked to, like who are playing along with the show. Like one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on is that not everybody goes deep the same way that we did when we like started a podcast. And I'm on my like not fourth, like probably like seventh playthrough of the game. Trying a bunch of different things. Like I have friends who are playing along with the show. So like Braden,
have no idea.
Yeah, Braden, who was on last week, like he finished the area we talked about, and that's as far as he's gotten in the game. So just for completeness sake, say what a giant dad is.
Well, this dude, I think it originated with Only Afro, which is this YouTube poster that does crazy, wacky, sometimes even funny Dark Souls videos. A giant dad is a guy in complete giant's armor using a Chaos Zweihander. Am I doing that right, Cole? Zwei?
Yeah, sure.
I called it a Zwei until I started listening to your podcast. So,
I don't know that we're doing it right at all.
Ben hasn't corrected me yet, and he speaks German, so.
Okay, that's good.
So, Giant's armor, Mask of the Father, which is probably the most hilarious looking mask in the game. And then Chaos Vi, and enough endurance and vitality so that you are basically unstoppable, and you RB spam your way to victory. And there's a whole thing where people say it's the legend, and the legend never dies, and yeah, there's a whole meme around it. Google Giant Dad. I even have a video on my YouTube page because me and two other goons are going to do a giant family playthrough. So we're going through, and I'm giant dad. One goon is giant mom using the mask of the mother, and another dude is giant child, who is mask of the kid, or I don't even remember what the mask name is now. Child. But we're going through and recording ourselves, and all three of us have capture devices, so we're recording 3 different angles of these boss fights.
That's excellent.
Holy shit.
So, yeah, that should be a lot of fun. We've gotten through Capra, and after that we said, okay, we're not going to record anymore until we actually edit some of this and put it on YouTube. But between 3 dudes that have full-time jobs, and
I hope you get invaded so bad. Like that would be so funny. Like if you invaded in and just came in on the family, like all of you guys could look up, and just kind of like look at each other. I know that the game doesn't have that kind of control, but or that kind of animation, but that would be insane.
We were invaded in the parish. And for whatever reason, like because Dark Souls networking sucks so bad, anytime that we've been invaded, like one of my summons dies out because I'm hosting the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And for this guy invaded, and instantly Richie Z, just like who is I think Giant Mom, disappeared completely. I don't know why. So this guy rolled up on like a giant mom, giant child and giant dad. We killed him instantly because the build is so incredibly overpowered. And the guy sent me a message immediately afterwards saying the legend never dies.
Turned you into a giant widower.
Exactly.
Yeah. Eventually, there might be a giant orphan.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh, we're trying to work in like some real dumb plot lines too, like giant child how to use this Y. Like it's going to be hilarious. Like
that is great. That's awesome.
But I can't really think of any like Dark Souls, and maybe I'm just not remembering them offhand. Like specifically PvP terms.
I feel like Lagstab is the one that I've seen a lot, but for some reason that suggested to me like a world of other things. But it, other than like the specific kind of that build nickname, and then getting Lagstabbed, maybe that's not there. I just kind of assumed there was more complexity under it.
No, there's not. It's a really like giant dad is such a simple build. And it's really actually boring to play. If I didn't have like 2 friends and doing some weird gimmick stuff with it, like it would be extraordinarily boring.
It's just a wall, right? You don't really have to do anything.
I mean, you're simply tapping RB. Like that's all you're doing, and it does so much poise damage that you can stun lock almost everybody. And if you can't stun lock them, then you have Black Flame. I did forget the Black Flame part, where you have Great Combustion or Black Flame to break up poise. But
right.
I mean, even that isn't. I don't know. It's a very boring build. But
yeah,
it became a meme for some reason in the Dark Souls community.
Probably because it's really effective. Right. So like it's probably I'm obviously not saying this about anybody particularly who plays it, but it probably attracts some players just because it is because they want to get that kill death ratio up. The people who are getting on the Dark Souls haters blog are probably the same people who are taking this seriously enough to want to win it, even at the kind of the cost of their own fun,
Yeah.
or variety there.
Absolutely. I didn't think about that, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Someone who's went online at best PvP build in Google and came up with giant.
Oh no.
Poor guys.
There's just such a rush to codify things, right? Like, of all of the options that this game presents to you, like, everybody kind of gravitates towards those things which they see other people being successful with.
Oh, absolutely. And it creates a weird, I don't want to say community. It creates a weird conversation around the game because, and I'm guilty of this too. Like, somebody will ask, what's the best way to do a soul level 1 run? And someone will say, well, you get your pyro flame and you upgrade it and you walk through the game. Well, that's created kind of a backlash where people are like, oh, you did a soul level 1 with pyro? That's not a real soul level 1 run. You got to do that without a pyro flame. Like, it creates a weird, like, oh, you're going to use summons and summons for all the bosses? Well, you haven't really played Dark Souls.
Yeah, no true Scotsman would use summons in a pyro glove.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. There's a sense of the whole game. There's kind of a sense of like a moving goalpost.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm guilty of it a little bit because I started my soul level 1 run and I use a pyro flame. Like, it was still,
Oh, ditto. I'm not hating. Like, I did.
No, I don't think you are. But then at that point I was like, okay, I've gotten this far. I want to try without playing a shield. I don't think I'm going to go as far as other people, and I would never besmirch. I have sympathy for people on new game fighting Manus, for the first time, or fighting, Orange Sea and Smoke for the first time. Like, I don't. It's all respectable to me. But there is a sense of just kind of like trying to get to the basement and bringing out a shovel, as far as challenge goes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's weird because Dark Souls isn't a hard game. If you ask anybody who's finished Dark Souls, but like, I'm the guy that spent 6 hours trying to defeat the Taurus demon.
Yeah.
And now I'll be like, oh, Dark Souls is a pretty easy game. You just have to know what to do. Well, it took me like 150 hours to get there.
Yeah.
It's really easy to lose perspective on how hard that stuff is.
Right.
So, something I end up saying a lot at work when like new trainings or new softwares or anything like that is like, everything is hard until you know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And if you think about like microwaving food, like, it's not hard, but if you just were had this machine in front of you and you didn't, couldn't. I was gonna say you don't speak English, or like I was gonna say you don't read, but I guess you do read numbers. I don't know why I didn't think of that before, but that is what you do with numbers. You have this machine in front of you and you can't read. It would be almost impossible to figure out how to make successful food. It's only easy because you know what you're doing.
Well, why would it ever occur to you that a box would make something warm?
Yeah.
Like, if I wasn't raised with a microwave, I'd be like, you're going to do what with the what now? That doesn't make any sense.
No, I want to eat that. Don't put it in there. So the what is, like, so we talked about the Giant Dad as a specific build. Like, what is the most fun that you've had as a build? Like, what is your favorite?
Oh, man. Not to like, I guess, self-promote, but Karmic Justice builds they're barely functional. And when I talked about earlier about like being successful, like, 1 out of maybe 5 or 10 invasions, you actually get the blast to trigger it all, and then of those that you happen to manage to kill the dude with the blast, like, it's a very small percentage, but when it works, it is so amazing, and a lot of fun, because even now, after there's been a bunch of YouTube activity with Karmic Justice stuff lately, but even now, hardly anybody in the actual PvP scene has seen it before. So that, they see me cast it, like I'm glowing purple, and they don't understand that. And they come up and R1, 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 and boom, it kills them, and it's hilarious. My main PvP build when I first started PvP, and I got started because I wanted to get all of the achievements in the game, and I had to do the Dark Moonblade stuff. Mm-hmm. So the only way to do that was to invade or kill harpies. And man, I hate the harpies. Like, they are the worst. I'm terrified of the harpies. So I was like, I will rather go into the forest and do PvP than kill harpies. And that was a sorcerer build. That was like what most people would call a try-hard build at this stage. 50 intelligence, just enough strength and dex to wield the Moonlight Greatsword. And I've gone through the game with that particular build 4 or 5 times now. So I have 20-something cast of Crystal Soul Spear. It's just extraordinarily overpowered at this point. It's hilarious. But locked in at soul level, I think 110 or 115. Mm-hmm. So, still be summoned into other people's games. So Karmic Justice, a straight-up sorcery build, I think is a lot of fun. It's a straight-up sorcery build in PvP before they introduced Darkbeard. Darkbead. Darkbead and Pursuers was actually very difficult. But man, you will get a lot of hate mail on a sorcerer build. A lot of hate mail. People hate dying to magic. And then I guess my third one would be my dual claw build, which started. There were two other goons that wanted to do like superhero cosplays. So one guy was a Hulk, like he managed to get himself all green and bulked up, and he was using Dragon Bone Fist. And then another dude was playing, I think, Pyro, like he had dual Pyro Flames. And so I decided I was going to be Wolverine and didn't take it seriously at all. Like we were just having fun screwing around. And then I started doing a lot of PvP with it for whatever reason and I have a lot of fun with it. Like I'm really surprised with how it works. So those are probably my three favorite builds to mess around with.
You have to roll like a motherfucker when you have the claws on, right?
Well, that's the only thing that the claw has going for it, man, is that rolling R1 attack. And it either will decimate an opponent. And by decimate, I mean damage them slightly.
1/10 of their damage.
Yeah. Because let's face it, the claws suck. The claws are terrible weapons. Even at plus 15, even at plus 5 chaos, they don't do any damage.
Right.
Or you get face an opponent who's played against dual claws before, and they can just parry you immediately.
Oh no!
Without any effort. And if you're doing a dual claw run with no shield, you're basically you're just every single spear person's bitch at that point. Because anybody that's having a spear, in fact, I've gotten to the point where I don't even commit anymore. Like I see a dude with a spear and I just switch to a shield. I'm done. I'm not going to do this.
You talked about you mentioned the karmic justice thing, and we talked about it a little bit on mic, or off mic rather. Can you explain real quick what that is, what that build means, and then this is how I came across your videos. So we talked about that a little bit, but can you just elaborate a little bit for anybody who's not familiar?
Sure. Karmic Justice is a miracle that's sold by Oswald up in the Gargoyle Tower.
Yeah.
It's kind of ironic for a lot of different reasons, but I'll let you lore people get into that later. The spell is really strange. It's a buff, which means when you cast it, it kind of stays on your body for probably 5 minutes or so. I've never actually timed it. It's really, really difficult for it to get it to trigger. And when I say trigger, I mean that if you were hit enough times in a row, it does like a Wrath of God or a Force-like explosion, except that the damage effect is purple, which is kind of cool, I guess. It's a really strange miracle in that the game doesn't keep track of what you cast it with. So, for instance, if you cast Crystal Soul Spear has a base damage that it does, and I have no idea what that is, but it multiplies that by the magic adjust of the catalyst that you're using. So if you can look up all those values on Dark Souls wikis, but people min-max that all the time. But with Karmic Justice, it doesn't do that. Karmic Justice, it uses when the blast triggers, it uses whatever the magic adjust of the item in your right hand is. So because Dark Souls is really, really, really weird, and if you start breaking this stuff apart like the PC people are doing, you realize that all of the faith scaling items in the games is terrible.
Right.
Like, not only does it not scale as much, like it doesn't even scale up to the level that intelligence stuff does. So you've got a very difficult miracle to even like understand what it does. Like if in the game you get the Soul Spear, you cast it, and you're like, oh, this does a giant bolt of damage. I've seen this before. This is some Street Fighter shit. I'm on this. I got it. When you cast Karmic Justice, you like kneel down and do this prayer thing, and you glow purple for a little while, and that doesn't do anything. So it's really, and the game doesn't explain anything about this. So we started kind of breaking it down. Me and a couple of other goons in the thread realized that you have to be hit within like 5 or 6 times very rapidly. And if you go on YouTube and look up Karmic Justice Intro or Karmic Justice 101, I don't even remember what I named it. Like, I have a video that kind of walks you through the step by step. You have to be hit 5 or 6 times in a row. You have to be hit using a shield with less than 100% physical resistance. In other words, you actually have to take damage in order for it to work. At that point, the blast triggers. And if you're using just a normal weapon, it'll do like 200, 300 damage on an opponent, and like it'll throw them back a little bit. So it's not really that impressive. But if you start kind of min-maxing it, if you take your intelligence up to 50, use a 10 crystallization catalyst, which at that point is the highest magic adjust of the game, then you can, you'll do like maybe 800, 900 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Then you start stacking miracle boosting rings. What is the ring of the sun?
Firstborn sun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That does, I think, 10 or 20% extra damage. So, you get up into that 1,000 range. Well, then you add the Crown of Dusk, and that gets you up into like maybe 1,100, 1,200. Mm-hmm. Well, then you add the Red Tearstone ring, which adds 50% to all your damage. So at that point, you're basically begging someone to take you below 20% health within 5 hits so that they can kill you, so that you can kill them with the blast. On my personal YouTube page, I've gotten it up to 1,600 damage, which will basically one-shot almost any build. There's another dude on YouTube that got up to 1,700, which I was pretty impressed with, using the same almost exact build, except for whatever reason he went all the way up to 99 intelligence, which I've never seen anybody do. So yeah, it's a very strange miracle. It's very hard to work. The actual build itself is, I think I mentioned earlier, it's almost broken. Like you have to have 20 faith, you have to have 50 intelligence. What are you going to do with that?
Yeah.
Well, it's a very gimmick build.
I imagine too, like certain weapons are just going to be nonsense for it. If someone's using one of these big strength weapons that only fires like every 2 seconds, like they're never going to trigger it. Like you need to be fighting, somebody with like with a fast dex-based weapon, who's not trying to backstab you. That's like willing to sit there and let you turtle.
Oh man, backstab fishers are like the worst. There's a phrase for you, backstab fishing. I didn't think about that earlier. Someone who constantly tries to circle around you for a backstab. But backstab fishers are the worst for the build. They just never attack you. Like you're like, what am I gonna? I'm just gonna sit here. Like this is gonna be broken.
We're just gonna dance here
sword
forever.
Users, big axe guys, like they just you invade them and you look at them and you're like, God, I hope you have a summon somewhere. Maybe that'll work.
God.
But that's essentially karmic justice. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube about it. It got a lot more popular when all of the hacking stuff started because people, for some reason, found some weird karmic justice spell that they could just instantly cast, and
What what's the best like gimmick build that you've like run up against or even tried yourself?
I did like a Hawkeye thing. Where I was going to be just a straight bows, and I know Gary, you're doing a straight bow run through right now, and man, I had no perseverance with that whatsoever. Like I just could not get. I was like,
neither did I. Like by the end of the let's play, like I'm probably using my sword more than I'm using my bow.
Yeah, that's exactly. By in Orlando, that's what I was doing. I was like, well, fuck this, I'm out. You guys need to tell me, by the way. I know you guys cuss, but I have kind of the mouth of a sailor, so if I get raunchy, let me know. I'll tone it down.
You're just going to throw around sea turn, like nautical and starboard?
Yeah.
It was a real aft piece of shit.
Nautical and starboard.
Some of the sea terms I know.
I'm going to start calling flag codes, like, oh, we've got some cargo on fire over here.
Yeah.
Boy, my spinnaker was fucked.
But gimmick builds, like I did a Mildred gimmick for a while.
Oh, yeah.
I was invading in Upper Blighttown. And man, it was probably the meanest I've ever been in Dark Souls. Like it's, because at the time you had like, it was really easy to keep yourself in stock of like dung pies and fire bombs, and you would invade dudes again. Night shields or spider shields unupgraded with like maybe a fog, or not a fog, the what is the boar helmet thing? I don't even remember the name of it, but you could tell they were obvious newbies, like Drake swords, and like to be invaded by like a naked chick with a sack with a giant sword throwing shit at them, like, and you would do that thing, and I've got some videos on my YouTube page about it, and it's really popular, where you get them not only with dung pies, so they've got the toxic status, but then you hit them with the poison knives, so they're toxic and poisoned. At that point, they really don't have mosses, or if they do, they don't have them equipped. And you're constantly hitting them with the Lloyd's talisman so they can't heal themselves. At that point, you're just watching them die. Or, you chase them down and you kick them off ledges. That's the place where I found out if you can actually run out of stamina on a ladder. And if you have like a there's a special animation for you like wheeling back and falling down.
Yeah, I've done that before, and it's really rare. But I've gotten knocked off of ladders and had that happen. Like, I was trying to knock someone off a ladder while they were trying to knock me off a ladder. And you do this like really kind of comical, like, whoa, you know,
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
well, it's not dignified.
I love theme invasions. There's a series of videos on YouTube called, I think, Protecting Our Homeland, where a guy, he dresses up like as the Stone Guardians in the Darkroot Forest and invades, and he does like Silver Knights and in Orlando. Like he does like he dresses up as the enemies from the game and invades in their area to kill hosts, and I think that's a lot of fun.
Totally. Like that's my favorite thing that has come from PvP that I've seen, having not like participated that much, is I watch a lot of YouTubes, just like before bed I'm dicking around on my phone trying to fall asleep, and I love that shit. Like one of the first ones I saw was the guy, I don't know if it's from the same series, but dressed up as the Stone Knight. He didn't do it in the area, but I talked about it on the show. He does it at the top of the ramp in Sun's Fortress with the boulders. So as they approach, you cast a Tranquil Walk of Peace, and you just stand there with your shield. And they can't do anything. And then they try to roll away, do the dumb stagger animation, and just get hit by boulders.
And Sun's Fortress might be my favorite invasion spot in the game.
So good.
It's so much fun. Oh man.
That's a good segue. So what are, you said that might be your favorite and is a good spot. Like what is the where are people kind of in the metagame? Like where, if you want to get started in PvP, and we've established that like the best way to do it is just to spend a bunch of time doing it. Like where are you going to want to go? And is there a difference? Like if you go to certain areas, are you more likely to find kind of these, professional, people who are
making
do
a
this
living
for a
off
living?
of it?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Professional PvPers, or are there places where you can go to maybe get, because like if you think about Dark Souls, Vegeta 311 just had a video that came out, and he had this kind of a screed about PvP and talked about how people expect it to be like a fighting game and be balanced, and it's not a fighting game. It's essentially a single player game, so it's never going to have balance, and you should stop expecting that. When you think about balance in a fighting game, though, like what you want, the best time you're going to have with a fighting game is playing against someone who's exactly as skilled as you are. And like the times I've gotten frustrated with PvP in this game, like when I would be invaded, was it just like, this person's 1,000 times better than me. Like it's not, how is this fun for anybody? And I couldn't understand it at first. And now I've relaxed the fuck up because it's not that big a deal. Right. But at the time, like that was my perspective on it. So are there places where like you're more likely to get kind of like a invasion that is appropriate? Or are there places where there are more like common trolling grounds for people who are here to fight, who this is what they do?
So obviously the forest is probably the worst place in the game to invade, because you are more than likely running against 2 or 3, summons that are waiting there to be invaded, probably using the dried finger thing to get invaded more, that just want to kill you. Very rarely in the forest will you find somebody, that was just hanging out that wants to duel. Every once in a while it happens. I'm not saying it doesn't, but in the forest you're more than likely going to run against 2 or 3 people waiting to kill you. And there's a certain kind of perverse satisfaction in surviving that. So I think that's why that scene stays very popular. The township, that first bonfire in the township, is a very popular 1v1, PvP spot. You can hang out there as a, in that soul level. If you're on the console, it's 120. If you're on PC, probably still level 100 range, and just get invaded constantly. My Dark Moon guy at 120 can get an invasion in every 2.5 minutes usually. I don't wait around very often at all. And then if you're a low level person using a red orb, man, you are constantly invading. You will run across gankers, and when I use the term gankers, that's a team of people like waiting to destroy you at a spawn spot. Right. You'll run across those time to time, but in the township, it's pretty much 1v1. And then also the Berg, which before the DLC came along was very, very popular. The Berg still is, to a certain degree, pretty popular. You'll get a lot of PvP action over there too. A lot of red signs down. Y'all talked about the red signs in one of the podcasts recently, but that's the primary use of that red sign is, waiting to be summoned for actual PvP, 1v1. If you're wanting, I guess, to get I don't know what I would call it. If you're wanting to get that kind of low level new person invasion, you have to stay at a relatively low soul level. I talked about that Mildred gimmick. She was probably soul level 30 in Upper Blighttown, which, thinking that most people are human because they want to summon for the Gaping Dragon, they got a bunch of souls and they spin them right away because they, that works. So I was probably invading soul level 35 to 40 people, which isn't very high. Like, they're just not going to have the stats.
Right.
And if that's, you have to find weird spots like that. Upper Blighttown is great. Sin's Fortress is great. Anne Orlando is good. You're going to get a lot of invasions, but you're also going to get people that have darkened Anne Orlando that are waiting to do PvP, and a lot of higher level people, like the 120s and the 130s going through New Game 4 or whatever. I have a lot of fun doing Dark Moon invasions in the Duke's Archives.
Huh.
You'd be surprised. You'd be really surprised the amount of people that are human for that fight. Mainly because it's really easy to get Seath's Tail with a summon. Like, it's just way easier to do that.
Right.
But a lot of invasions, and you can have a lot of fun in the Duke's Archives too. I'm trying to think of where else. Like, really, you can invade almost anywhere in the game and have fun with it. If you want to have those fun, kind of interesting fights, I'd suggest staying as low of a soul level as possible. Stay in that 20 to 30 range, and you're going to have interesting. You're not going to have high level people using in-game gear smashing the R1 button.
Right.
And if you're going to be a dick wraith at all, in other words, if you're really going to if you're going to poison them and prevent them from healing, or kick them off ledges, or make them hurt Solaire, not that anybody here has done that or anything, like, you definitely want to stay in that low soul level range because you want to get people that don't know any better.
Right.
That brings up something too. What is your take? And can you speak a little bit to, like, the etiquette that's developed around this? Like, whether you subscribe to it or not, but there's definitely, like, a weird kind of subcultural
and it's that weird
there.
Like, honor thing. I didn't play a lot of it, but when it came out, like that old Jedi Knight thing where
you have to bow.
You have to bow and you have to do this stuff. Like, oh man, I can't tell you. Like, half of my kills when I first started in PvP was I would bow to somebody and they'd bow back, and I'd cast Crystal Soul Spear and they would die in one hit because they were bowing. Like, if you're going to be that dumb, then you're going to you get punished for it. There's an etiquette. I think that some of it depends on where you are. Like, invading in the township, for instance, like I mentioned earlier, in the morning, like, I'll get up on Saturdays and from like 8 to 12 I'll just invade in the township constantly, and you end up invading like the same maybe 10 people, and you kind of get to I'm not going to say relationship, but sometimes they wind up on your friends list, or you trade messages with them. So when you invade those guys, you're bowing, or you're waving, or you're jumping, or you're doing whatever. And like normal everyday PvP though, like, if somebody invades you, don't bow to them. They're there to kill you.
It's called
if you
invading.
Invade somebody, like, don't expect them to heal. Like, it's not going to be. They're going to use Estus. Like, they're trying to survive. Mm-hmm. So there is like a weird subculture, and that's where a lot of the hate stuff comes from. Like, if you go on the haters blog, man, it's a lot of honor duel, and I can't believe you killed me when I did this, or you're using this type of weapon in this place. Somebody was complaining this week of, I can't believe you would use like a gold dagger or something in the forest. And I'm like, dude, it's a weapon in the game.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it is. That's not considered to be like a broken weapon, right? Like, those are pretty good dex weapons, but not. That's kind of crazy. It reminds me of like when people talk about Smash Brothers. And Smash Brothers has those built-in rules to make it less chaotic. So, people are like, oh, you should just do Smash Brothers. Only Fox, only Final Destination, no items, no, anything.
No fun.
Yeah, no fun. Like, just flip off the fun slider.
Like, I spend a lot of time on Twitch watching people stream Dark Souls because apparently a full-time job and a wife and a life isn't enough for me. I also have to consume as much Dark Souls as possible. But you run into fight clubs that have stuff like no Hornet Ring or no Red Tearstone Ring, and I'm like, dude, it's a and I understand it from one point of view. Like, they don't want like those instant kills; they want interesting fights. But at the same time, it's in the game. Like, what?
Like, every part of this game is utilitarian. Right? Like, if it works, if it like results in a net positive for you, then you are supposed to take advantage of it. And for people to just like rail against that is like, it almost seems like counter to the entire experience, other than their arbitrary rules that they build up around it.
And arbitrary rules is perfect phrase for that, because it's completely arbitrary. The game empowers you to be a complete dick. Like, they wouldn't have dung pies and Lloyd's talismans like given to you if they didn't want you to be a dick. Like, the game is, somebody from Software was like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if you could just be a complete dick the whole game? And to have that, like, all of a sudden that's like, oh no, we can't do that because we can't use katanas anymore because they cause bleed and we don't like bleed. Like, it's a dumb rule. I don't know. I don't. Obviously, you can tell from my tone of voice, I don't subscribe to the honor culture or whatever. And I'll bow with people and we'll, whatever. But I'm not like it. It's really, really, really dumb for me.
Like okay, so you don't subscribe to the honor culture. Neither do I. Like what do you feel about people who make SL1 characters specifically to invade in the Berg, like going after newbies to ruin their fun time? Like, what's your opinion on them?
As a guy that's done that,
me too. I've done that, so don't worry.
I think there's more to the legend of that than there is in the actual practice.
Yeah.
It's soul level 1 invasions are very boring. You're either encountering complete newbies that have no defense against your +5 lightning hand axe, or you're encountering giant dads and soul level 200 dudes that are waiting around in the Berg to invade you.
Right.
So to me, it's very boring. I'm in full support. Like, if I can ruin somebody's day in Dark Souls, that is a win for me. Like, that's fantastic. The game provides you the tools to do that, and I think it's great. I mean, because you have to realize you're not losing anything. Like,
right.
If I invade your world in Sense Fortress and I kill you by I don't know, like a firestorm from around the corner, and you've never seen that spell before, you've lost maybe one humanity. Like, your souls are right there. You're gonna be able to get them back. Like, I'm not like go. Don't be human, and you won't get invaded and have somebody kill you. So, I have no problem with that stuff. I really don't. And I've been on the receiving end of that many, many times. Like, losing millions and millions of souls at one time because I decided to turn human because I was going to summon someone to go to a boss fight, but I got killed. Like, yeah, I've been there, and I know how bad it feels and how enraging it is. But at the same time, it's built into the game. Like,
yeah, it took me a little while to come to that perspective, because like when you're first starting out, and we talked about this in a specific episode, like there are the events that break you in Dark Souls and like teach you that nothing that you have matters. It's a lot like when you join Project Mayhem or whatever, and they're just like break you down as a human. And like my first really irritating invasion experience was in Blighttown. Stone's throw away from the second bonfire, and I had such a hard time getting through Upper Blighttown to get down there, and I was just so angry that somebody would come and just murder me with it. And like ultimately I've come around to that, but at the time I was just like, what, you dickhead, blah blah blah. On my way back down though, I made it my next time. I don't think I got my souls back, but I did. It took me one more try, because like the same way that a microwave is only hard until you know how to do it, that's the same of everything in here. So like the thing you think you're going to lose when someone invades you and kills you, you can't lose, because it'd be like somebody pushing you off a bike and you forgetting how to ride it.
That's an excellent analogy. Yeah.
Yeah, like you still know how to ride a bike. You can get up and just get back to your spot.
But you're absolutely right. When you get to those points in the game where you're almost to the point where you have tried for hours to get to, but at the same time, I would ask you, why were you human? Like, if you've been through Upper Blighttown like 20 times, why are you turning human, dog?
to handle that bonfire. Like, it was the time I didn't have tons of humanity. I was trying not to. I was putting off kindling it when I first got there, and it's an interesting. I know that there's some kind of philosophy behind those two things being connected in the designer's mind,
Yeah.
And it's kind of perverse in that like you can make the game easier for yourself at the same time you potentially make it much harder for yourself by opening yourself up to this thing.
Yeah,
I find that whole design philosophy, I guess you would call it, that design element, just fascinating. That it intrigues me all the time. Like, well, if you want help, you're going to have to just completely open yourself up to the most horrible thing ever. Yeah. Invasions are fun. is the ultimate.
Well, so, I mean, speaking of invasions, like, what's your favorite faction to play under, or Covenant?
Oh, it's got to be Dark Moon Blade, man. That message that you get when have either of you guys done Dark Moon invasions?
Yeah.
I have not. I still haven't made a Dark Moon. I keep thinking about making a dedicated PvP build, and I just keep getting distracted by dumb gimmicks for single player experiences.
Yeah.
I definitely have my share of dumb gimmicks. Don't get me wrong. But Dark Moon Blade is probably my favorite invasion Covenant, simply because of that message. Well, not just because of the guilty pay the price message, although that is extremely rewarding, but also that it's like a guilt-free invasion. Like, all of a sudden you don't feel bad invading that soul level 45 dude because you know he done fucked up. That dude has some sin and you're there to take it back from him. And unfortunately, the way the game works, and you don't get as many invasions as a Dark Wraith.
Right.
And if you want the most amount of PvP, you definitely want to go Dark Wraith, or host somewhere that's like in the forest or something.
Right. But
definitely Dark Moon Blades.
Have you ever been able to successfully play PvP under kind of one of the I want to say loser covenants, but Gravelord or Path of the Dragon? Because neither of those have ever worked for me.
I've never done anything with Gravelords. It's hearing about how broken it is, and it's not very interactive, so it doesn't appeal to me at all. It seems very boring. Like, I can just hang out as a human and be invaded anyway. Like, I don't need to,
yeah.
I don't know. It's just the whole thing sounds very boring to me as the dude that is Gravelording people. I love fighting the Black Phantoms. I think that's a lot of fun, but
yeah.
Path of the Dragon, I've never done. I joined it a couple of times just to get the stuff, like the stone and the roar thing.
The torso, yeah.
But the torso stone. Thank you. And I make a point because I know how hard those dudes suffer. Like, every time I see a dragon sign, I summon them immediately if I happen to be around. But I've never done it myself. And just coming from the thread and various Dark Souls chat, it's not very active at all. Part
of that is because you have to be the Gravelord. It's because you have to be New Game Plus.
You have to be New Game Plus.
Yeah, which is really strange, and they never, obviously nothing tells you that in the game because it's Dark Souls, but it's a really weird little wrinkle to it. And
it is pretty strange, although I would imagine it would be abused a lot more if that wasn't there. Like, I think it's a gate that is pretty good. Like, if you if you imagine your first playthrough, and you've probably seen the videos on YouTube of all the Black Phantoms. Like, if you can imagine that on your first playthrough, you would have no idea what was going on. So
I'm kind of surprised for that reason they don't do it, though, because that would be it would be a pretty awesomely pants-shittingly amazing thing. But of course, the fact that you don't have to be human to be Gravelorded. Is that correct?
That's an excellent question. I don't think so. I think just the boss has to be alive, because I know times I've been Gravelorded. I was on New Game 4, and then I went through the Firelink shortcut to the parish. And if you're Gravelorded, there is a Black Phantom Tower Knight right at that elevator who just immediately, and they scale with your New Game status, so one shot me. And then when I came back as a Hollow, they were still there. So, I don't know if you have to be. I don't know if you have to be Hollow or human or not.
I guess even if you do have to be human to initially get Gravelorded, the fact that it was still there when you came back Hollow. So if it was on New Game, you get there, you die against this thing, you'd be like, okay, well, I'm Hollow now, I'm fine, and come back and just find it there again. I could see why they don't want that kind of, wall or impediment to progress. Mm-hmm. But it always struck me as one of the more creative ideas for a Covenant. I always like it kind of from a lore perspective and everything.
Oh, I love it. I wish it was better. I wish that as a Gravelord, you could take over a Black Phantom, for instance. I think that would be super cool.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
Excuse me. I think that even as having some form of feedback, a video of somebody getting killed. I don't know, but
it is real hands off. It's real set it and forget it until somebody comes in and decides to get their revenge on you. Mm-hmm. I didn't. The frustrating thing about that Soul Level 1 or Soul or New Game Plus aspect of that was I would get the message that I had been Gravelorded, like at an early level, or I would get the message that the Grave Lord had been defeated without me having done anything, which made me think the phrasing of it was confusing. So I spent a lot of time looking around for a Grave Lord sign after I went online. I was like, what the fuck does this mean? And never found one. And then some superhero out there on New Game Plus just took care of it for me. But,
yeah, the message is really confusing because you get the message, you would imagine, oh, I'm infected, but no, that actually means you were infected and now you're not.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So. This poor Dragon Bros out there, man. I hate it for him trying to get the scales. Dude, nobody outside of like hardcore PvP people would summon those people. Like it just doesn't happen.
Right.
Have you have you had any experiences with or know anything about? So one of the other like kind of sides to this PvP. Well, two things real quick. One thing, when you're talking about it being in the game, so you should be a dick. I think like the operative phrase there is it being in the game. Like there's a huge difference in going in and using the game's tools against players versus like, doing exploits or hacking people, or doing any of that shit. Which like, I think is
absolutely, yeah.
Just restating our editorial position as a podcast on that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there's an interesting divide though, because the game on the consoles had glitches for a while that were abused, like the bottomless box glitch. So you could go get in-game gear and switch that to a level 1 character, and then roll up and kill some people real quick. And actually, I don't mind those as much, but on the PC, like all of the weird cursing, and now on the 360 where you can just use karmic justices and all that other BS, it's really, really bad. I don't support that at all. But
how often, as somebody who's really active in it, how often do you run into it? Like how prevalent is it in real terms?
I don't PvP much on the PC because I just bought the game on the PC and just now have a laptop that can actually play the game. So I'm halfway through my first playthrough on that. But on the 360, it's pretty common. Like you will, 1 out of every 5 invasions or so, you're going to run into someone that has infinite health. Or this is a great story. If you guys don't mind me digressing just a little bit,
go ahead.
I was invading the township, and I spawn up, and I'm rolling down that stairs, and as I'm coming down the stairs, the guy's sitting at that first little like roof to the left hand side. I think there's an item there, and he's just standing there completely naked with like something in his hand that I can't see. And I'm like, okay, somebody's doing some weird like funny video stuff. So I kind of stroll up to him, and I'm on my dual claw build, so I have no shield. And as I get just within range, he cast the karmic justice blast, like that big purple blast that you're not supposed to be able to do, knocks me off the steps, and of course I fall off and die. So I pull up his name because I make a habit on the 360 of any kind of banners or any kind of hackers or modders that I see, I report them and I block them and all that. Yeah. I don't think it does much for Microsoft, but you try. So I pull up his profile and I'm like, man, I recognize that name. That's really weird. And I look at his bio, and his bio is, I swear to God, linking to my Tumblr blog for Dark Souls haters. He's got it in his bio on his fucking Xbox 360 profile. So I can't help it. I sent him a message. I'm like, what are you doing? You're not having fun with this. And he's like, oh man, I just do it for the hate mail. And I'm like, oh God, what have I created? So I sent him a message. I'm like, dude, I'm the guy that runs that site. I said, I don't know if you've submitted stuff, but I'm not going to put you on my site. And he's like, oh no, don't get me wrong. I don't submit any hate mail that I get on my hacked account, just on my legit account. And I'm like, what kind of weird logic is that? Like, what do you?
I am become death destroyer.
Oh my God. Anyways, sorry, I didn't mean to digress, but yeah,
that's an awesome
one of the weird
story.
Stories.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I mean, or go ahead, Cole.
No, I was just going to say, we were talking about system differences, like which system, because I only ever play it on Xbox 360, but you've done 360 and PS3, and you're dipping your toe into PC. Like, which has the better, more like thriving PvP environment? Do you think?
I've primarily done 360 because that's kind of my platform of choice. Anecdotally, people say that the PS3 has more of a player population. Just because apparently a lot of the Japanese... I don't think the game came out on 360 in Japan, and there's a lot of Japanese players on the PS3 over there.
Right.
In my limited PS3 PvP experience, I didn't notice that much of a difference, though.
Right.
PC PvP, watching streams, talking to people is very, very light. Like, not a lot of people...
Right.
Excuse me. Not a lot of people are doing it. for instance, I was watching a guy stream today. He was waiting 5 or 10 minutes in between invasions in the forest. And, yeah, I know, miserable. And I was kind of boning up on my Dark Souls today, and it was 30 seconds for me using the orb. I was invading in the forest.
Right.
So I would say your consoles are probably your PvP area of choice, although it's, the 360 has been hacked at this point. Like, you can do save editing, all kinds of crazy stuff. There's a mule out for the PS3, so you can very quickly get started and have 5 copies of Wrath of God at soul level, whatever.
Ooh.
Like, that's ridiculous. And the PC is beyond messed up with the cursed and cursed statuses and all that stuff. So I don't even know where to tell people to go nowadays.
There's nowhere to go. Demon Souls.
Go back to Demon Souls. Absolutely. There's a goon doing a fight club, I think, this weekend in Demon Souls. If you guys have soul level like 120 builds, which I don't, I've only played through it once.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I've never encountered another player in Demon Souls. Like, I've never been invaded, nor have I invaded. I know I'm connected because I get all the messages, which are crazy. Like, when you look at because I don't know if it's just the netcode aspect of it, but like in Dark Souls, if I get to a message and it has like a rating 11, I'm like, oh, this is a really popular message, and I'm on PC. And then in Demon Souls, I'll get to a message and it'll have like 1,200 ratings.
Oh,
I'm like, holy shit!
It's been here since
and
launch.
There's so many more messages on Demon Souls than I've ever seen in Dark Souls on any platform.
Yeah.
Demon Souls has tons of stuff. I was invaded my first playthrough in Demon Souls right around the time where you find patches and what's the world with the flying weird thing?
Shrine of Storms.
There you go. I was invaded there and literally was able to parry the dude and riposte and won. And I was like, okay, this is awesome.
That's funny.
Cool. Do we have? It's been about an hour. Like, do we have any final things before we wrap up?
No. I've asked everything I wanted to.
Cool. Is there anything that we didn't cover, Jeremy, that like you think would be useful?
No, I think we're good. We kind of went all over the place, so my mind's a little scattered now. I guess I could pull up our original email conversations, but I think we covered all the stuff that you guys wanted to talk about and builds and things like that. I guess, my thing is a lot of people get into this PvP game of Dark Souls and they get real discouraged very quickly. And to stress something I said earlier, you just don't take it seriously. Like, go in and just try to have like as much fun as possible. Throw poop at people, throw poison knives at people, like, learn how to parry. And it's a really weird skill that you have to learn about parrying and as compared to the single player parrying, which is relatively easy.
Right.
Just don't take it seriously and try to have fun with it. There's a real fun game there, and it's not a fighting game. It's not Soul Calibur, 2, which you can get real serious about. But there's a really fun game there, and I think more people would be interested in it. But unfortunately, there's just a bunch of assholes out there like me that will come in and kill you.
I would suggest anybody, and my favorite thing whenever I run into PvP and also when it comes to videos is theme stuff. So if I ever decide to get seriously into PvP, I'm going to come up with something stupid. Like, probably not something new and stupid because a lot of it's been done, but I'm going to dual wield something really dumb. And
no, man, I tell you, do a Mildred gimmick in Upper Blighttown. You will have the time of life. That you will have the time of your life. Like, naked chick with a sack on her head with a giant, like, weird knife. It's so much fun. Like, I tell people that all the time. Or do a Tarkus build in Sin's Fortress. Like, I do my fat Tarkus stuff, which is really dumb. But like, actually using a sword with those people is really hilarious. So.
Yeah, I just visualized, because the thing when you talked about the PS3, the mule thing that lets you get that stuff. The weird thing about that, because it's definitely cheating, but it's all stuff you can make happen with enough effort. Mm-hmm. Right, like you're just kind of grinding, or like not grinding your time. And I just wanted to see, had visions of invading as like a smo, but having 2 copies of the hammer, and then when you approach somebody, just pull the other one out and dual wield that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there was some, did you see that? One of the popular YouTube uploaders is that dude Peve Peverson, and he invaded some Twitch bro or whatever that I guess was hanging out in the forest with two of his buddies, and they were all dressed up as Smo, and they all had like dual hammers, and it was hilarious. They're all fat rolling, like they're all running around.
It's like a little park where, like, if like they all go to play, like a dog park.
Absolutely.
For Smos. You should send us, if you have like good PvP videos that you recommend. Send us like an email with them, and we'll put them in like the links of note.
Yeah.
As like recommended PvP videos to watch, either for educational or for hilarious.
Just put a link to my channel, man. That's all you need on YouTube. Just my channel. I'll try to think of some popular ones. I think I got some stuff like in my favorites or whatever that I can throw to.
Yeah. And we will put a link to your channel. So
you really don't have to do that. Like, I was just messing around. I'm
not
doing it for the views. It's fun.
I think we have anyway. So.
Okay. Cool.
I'm just looking. My phone just glowed. My mom just sent me a message that says, my mom doesn't know how to use computers, and says like, hey bud, how are you? I'm getting ready for bingo. Bingo has a $sign before it. Love you. If you need someone to talk to as a last option, you have mom always. It's like really dark and weird. Like, what a last option? What are you talking about, Mom?
Last option.
I'm okay.
All of a sudden, your Skype profile picture is making a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
I should probably post a link to that at some point because it's been referenced enough.
Yes, the go to the Duckfeed Shinakasak. The pitch, because that's what that's from.
Yeah. Oh. Since it's come out the week before people hear this, the fucking pitch episode with
Oh yeah, did you like that?
The crossover, so good.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the Twitter thing is turning out to be harder than we thought. Like the Twitter thing's like Braden is killing it, and I feel like I'm having a much harder time coming up with good shit for the Twitter for Dark Souls Week.
I haven't. You referenced that because you guys talk about that show every week, I think. And but y'all referenced the Twitter stuff, and I made a note to myself to go look at it, and I completely forgot about it until right now. So I need to go take a look at that. What's the Twitter handle for that?
PitchPod.
PitchPod. Okay. See, I would have never remembered that.
I just commented one tonight on the Facebook thread that had that stuff. Tight Night Catch of the Day.
Oh, that's very good.
Nice. Very good.
So we would like to thank you so much, Jeremy, for coming on here and giving us the 101, the 401, whatever you would prefer, on PvP. I think everybody's
401 isn't the thing.
411? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you said 401.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I think I cleaned my kitchen earlier, so.
Yeah.
But no, wait, that's 409. Oh God, I'm all messed up. No, but seriously, thank you so much for coming on here. And
thank you, Jeremy.
Well, thank you guys for having me. It was really a lot of fun, and I think, like I mentioned before, I could talk about Dark Souls for like literally hours, and my wife is so tired of hearing about it. So having a whole different source for that is very helpful.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really happy to have you on. A big help for us, and definitely learned a lot. And we will, you said that you were no longer on the Facebook, but I'm sure we'll get feedback about this. I think it went really well, and I'll be sure to share that with you.
Yeah,
please do.
As well.
Before we sign off, so let's just remind people where they can find you. You are darksoulshater.tumblr.com.
darksoulshaters.tumblr.com.
Yes.
For all of your racism and homophobic messages that you could possibly need.
And then your YouTube channel?
It's not ECEC, NOTECEC. And that should just bring you right there. If you just Google not ECC, it pulls up. So.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm. And I'm
Thank
sure
you guys
if you
again
just do,
so much.
Yeah, Karmic Justice Dark Souls too. It's going to pop right up. I think that's how I found it the first time.
Yep.
So you're very welcome. And you have a good night.
Y'all too. Have a good one.
Take care.
Thanks.
And we all pray that we will have far more soon